starring Chuck Connors.
Come in. Father, you didn't write you were coming.
Why would I? I knew I'd be here before any letter. So this is where you've spent your last 5 years. Going to school in the daytime, keeping store at night.
I'm graduating tomorrow, sir.
Your brother Lon going west to seek his fortune. He's never written me once, not all these years.
Lon and I were always different. What are you doing in St. Louis?
I'll tell you. 5 years ago, you and Lon left home like thieves in the night. I had careers planned for you. Careers in the Army of the United States, but no, you didn't want that. So I decided I'd come and see what you'd made of yourselves.
I can't speak for Lon.
No, you can't. Lon's dead.
Lon?
I wrote letters of inquiry to almost every federal law officer in the Western Territory. I finally got this reply. It says Lon's dead, shot down in a gunfight. Buried there in this place called North Fork. Signed by the marshal with regrets, that's all. Well, it's not enough. My son dead, and I don't know why or who did it. I demand answers to these questions. I want satisfaction. That's why I'm here, Ben. You and I, we're going to this North Fork.
I can't leave.
I said we're going, Ben. That's an order.
Father, I'm not going.
I might have expected that. You've disobeyed me all your lives, you and Lon. Very well, I'll go alone.
Father.
Don't ever call me that again. I've no sons. No sons left at all. Good day, sir.
Day to you, sir.
Road markers were down a while back. Wondered if I was on the way to North Fork.
A few more miles, you'd have been there. Say, on the way in, you didn't see a boy, a 12-year-old on a chestnut mare, did you?
No, can't say I saw anyone. Your boy missing?
No, late from school. Maybe you could use some water.
Thank you. I have sufficient.
Cavalry, huh?
Captain Josiah Perry, 3rd Illinois.
Glad to know you, Captain. I'm, Lucas McCain. You plan on visiting North Fork, or you just passing through?
You might say I'm going to visit kin. That your boy?
That's him.
Hello. I'm sorry, Pa, but when the fish started biting Will, I forgot all about time. But they'll be good for supper, though.
Mark, you were supposed to be home hours ago. And on the way home, you were supposed to bring me my axe blade from the blacksmith. Where is it?
Oh, I forgot it, too.
Visit to the woodshed would sharpen his memory. Man or boy, strict discipline's the only way to teach him.
Thanks for the advice, but I'll raise my boy my own way.
I've reared 2 of them. 2 boys who disobeyed my wishes and went their own ways. If I'd beaten some sense into them when they were young, I might have gotten better than I received. They left me with bitterness and heartache. You listen to me, McCain. Discipline that boy, or the same thing will happen to you. Good day.
Who was he?
Stranger wanting directions?
He sure seemed mean.
He must have been hurt pretty bad. Mark, what am I going to do with you?
Well, whatever you think, Pa, I know it was wrong.
And knowing is one thing and doing it again is another. Now, for the next week, you'll come home right after school, and you'll have some extra chores. Right now, get back on that horse, go into town, and get my axe blade from the blacksmith. And don't dawdle. Come right back.
Yes, sir. Here, we'll have these for supper, all right?
Relax yourself, Mark. This work will be finished in a few minutes.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Paul wanted me to get right back.
So I'll just explain to him I didn't find time to finish the work like I promised. Lucas will understand. Here. Run get yourself some candy. By the time you get back, I'll be finished.
All right, thanks.
Captain Perry, I told you all I know in my letter. You mean to tell me that even with your books, you can't remember who killed my son? That's right. My son's life meant that little. I can't accept that, Marshal. All I can say, Captain, is the case is closed. Now, what good will it do to start digging around in all the details? All I've got left of my son is details. I want to know how he died and why. You might not like what you hear. I've come a long way to hear whatever it is. All right. Your son was involved in a criminal attempt to extort money. When he found out his plan wasn't going to work, he forced a gunfight hoping to kill the man who stood in his way. Did you see it, this gunfight? My son, it wasn't a matter of cowardice. It was a fair fight, if that's what you mean. The other man just happened to be a little faster. And this other man? Captain, why don't you just let it rest there? What's his name? I said it was a fair fight. Naming names won't help anything. I just want to see this man and talk to him. I don't have to warn you, Captain, if you've come here to cause any trouble. His name. Goodbye, Captain Perry.
I tell you, I don't remember who this Lon Perry was. No, I don't remember any killing.
He's buried out in your town's graveyard, killed in a gunfight last July.
Why is it so important you find out who did it?
I'm the boy's father.
Why don't you go talk to the marshal? Maybe he'll help you. I got work to do.
Well, son, didn't expect to see you up and around so soon.
Well, I was just going to pick up some things for my pa and get right back. He's probably missing me already.
You don't happen to know the way to Willow Spring, do you?
Oh, sure. I could draw it for you in the dirt.
Well, fair enough.
Now, first of all, you know the road that you're coming to town on? Well, instead of going straight ahead, you turn right.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
keep on following it. There are a few signs.
I see. You know, you're a smart young fella. I wonder if you could help me. You know, last July, a man was killed in this town. In a gunfight, name of Lon Perry. You remember that?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, sure you do. Smart young fella like you'd remember a gunfight.
What do you want to know about it?
Yeah, I'd just like to know who killed him. You see, I've been wanting to thank whoever did it.
You want to thank him?
That's right. You see, I've been looking for Perry myself. Oh, he was a mean one, he was. But now it looks like someone in your town's done me a favor.
Looks like you've come to the right person. You see, it was my pa that shot him.
McCain?
Yep. Mr. Perry, he challenged him, and old Pa tried to avoid a fight, but he had no choice.
You've been real helpful, son. Real helpful.
Was that all you want? It wasn't ready, Pa. You can ask Nels.
He's right, Lucas, but it's ready now.
Oh, all right, Nils. Well, you better get it, son. We've got to get back.
Thanks.
Hello, Captain Perry.
It was you that killed my son, McCain?
I don't know what you're talking about, Captain.
Stay right where you are,
You
McCain.
better explain, Captain.
Lon Perry was my boy.
Lon Perry, I remember. He forced it. There was nothing else I could do.
I know all about it. He was involved in some criminal scheme, but
What, Captain?
you were the one who killed him.
With all respect, Captain, it was your boy who asked for it.
I'm not talking to you, mister. My boy did wrong, McCain, I know that, and he's dead for it. If he was alive, I'd punish him. He disobeyed me. Yes, he and Benjamin, both of them. I had plans for him, but no, he had to come out here and get himself killed. But that's not going to be the end of it. It can't be.
Well, what's all this got to do with me?
Did you think you could kill my son and not be punished for it the same as I'd punish him if he was alive?
Captain, you better think a minute. You don't really want to punish me.
Oh, but I do, McCain. There's no one else.
You're being foolish.
Take your punishment like a man. You're under my command now.
Don't do it, Captain. Mark.
I'm locking him up till he cools off.
Better try and talk some sense into him, Micah.
Thank you. You know, he should have taken his punishment. It would have been better for him if he had.
You don't seem very hungry, son.
Well, not much.
Something bothering you?
Pa, before you came into town today, well, the captain stopped me and started asking me a lot of questions about who killed Lon Perry.
You told him?
Well, he tricked me. He said that he wanted to thank the person who did it because he'd been looking for him himself.
Oh, son, that didn't give you any cause to tell him.
Well, I guess I was kind of proud that you were the one.
Proud? Now, I've taught you always there's nothing to be proud of in the killing of a man, no matter who he is or what he's done.
I know, and I'm sorry.
Well, go on and finish your supper.
That captain sure is a strange person. But what I don't understand is why he wanted to punish you if he hated his son so much.
Well, Mark, sometimes a man trained the way the captain's been, well, he gets to living by the book. You see, in the Army, there's a book of rules to study and follow to the letter. A lot of that book's got to do with discipline, keeping his men in line and forcing their obedience. Well, with Captain Perry, it seems he's got discipline all mixed up with retribution. In his mind, somebody's got to pay for what he thinks his son did to him. Now his son is dead, and he's turned to me.
I think I understand, but I'm not sure.
Well, I'm not exactly sure I've got it right either. Now, you better finish your supper or start clearing the dishes, huh?
I'll finish.
Got a hot supper for you. Thank you, Marshal. Hey, Marshal, if you got nothing better to do, I'd appreciate the company. How long you figure to keep me here?
Oh, I don't exactly know.
I'm due back at my post in 4 days, and that's a good 4-day ride.
I can't help that, Captain.
You probably think I went out of my head today, hmm? Well, that could be true. Seeing my son's grave this morning did something to me. You got any children, Marshal?
No.
Well, I'd have to say you're lucky. Those of us who have children have to be lucky to have them turn out well.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen plenty of them grow up. Not too many of them go wrong.
Well, you could be right. Maybe it's just my own hurt talking. You see, I had dreamed that they'd carry on the Perry name in the service. But they wouldn't give me that. Now when I find Ben's no more my son than an army mule, and I hear Lon's dead, just an outlaw, well, nothing much left, except feeling hate and striking out at things. When a man has a kin shot down, let alone a son, it's understandable he'd want to go out after the killer no matter whose fault it was. Well, man might feel that way at first, but then his reason ought to take over. I can't say I blame McCain. Very likely he couldn't help it. Seems like you've changed a little since this afternoon. Well, I've done with McCain, and with this town and all the rest. All I want now is to get back to my post. Maybe back there in the life I know, I can forget all this. Captain, will you give me your word you'll cause no more trouble? As an officer and a gentleman. I'm going to take you on your word. I don't know how to thank you properly, Marshal, for your understanding. Will you see that there's always a marker on my son's grave?
Marshal, my name's Ben Perry. I was told by the people at the hotel that you're holding my father.
Well, I was. I let him go just a little while ago.
He's gone? Where?
Back to his military post.
I was told he had some trouble with a rancher today, Lucas McCain.
A little.
I'd like to apologize for my father, Marshal. He hasn't been himself lately.
I understand, Mr. Perry. Oh, would you like a cup of coffee?
No, thank you. I'm obliged to you, Marshal.
You didn't deserve any better. But the man who killed you will not go unpunished.
Mr. McCain, my name's Ben Perry. I'm looking for my father, Captain Perry.
Well, he's not here. Now, what's this all about?
I didn't come here to make trouble, Mr. McCain, but I would like to talk to you.
All right, Mr. Perry. Step inside.
Thank you. I just rode in tonight. I found out what happened today.
You came all the way out here to tell me that?
I went to the jail to see my father, but the marshal had just let him go. I'm afraid he's headed here.
Sit down, Mr. Perry. I don't think Micah would have released him if there was any harm still festering in him.
I hope you're right, but I doubt it. I know my father.
Well, I'm obliged you thought to warn me.
It wasn't only for you, Mr. McCain. I'd like to prevent anything from happening to my father.
Well, he's not an easy man.
I know. And I feel somewhat responsible for it. I should have stopped him from coming to North Fork.
Sometimes stopping a man bent on something the way your father was is near impossible.
But I had the chance to try, and I didn't take it.
What finally decided you on coming out here?
The realization that I was somewhat responsible for everything. My father's violence, his bitterness.
Seems to me the death of your brother Lon was the cause of that.
That was only part of it. You see, Mr. McCain, since I was very young, I had one ambition. One I was afraid to tell my father about. I wanted to be a minister. So I entered divinity school.
You never told him?
No. A few days ago, when my father came to St. Louis to take me with him, I wanted to tell him, but I knew how he'd take it. So I just said I couldn't go. I couldn't tell him the real reason was because the next morning I was being ordained.
You're an ordained minister now?
I took this off before riding into North Fork tonight. I was afraid to let him see it. I didn't want to hurt my father any more than I already had.
What do you plan to do when you see him?
Help him if I can. The day I put that collar on, I thought about the duties and responsibilities that went with it. I'm supposed to lead my flock, help heal their souls, ease their afflictions. I realized then that if I was ever to help anyone, I'd have to start with my father first.
Reverend Perry, are you going to do it with the collar on or off?
On, Mr. McCain.
McCain! McCain!
Mr. McCain, please. Without the rifle, there'll only be bloodshed.
Paul, what's the matter?
You stay here, son. You stay right here.
I came to see only McCain.
Father, I've come to take you home with me.
You're no son of mine.
Father, look at me. This is why I couldn't go with you. This is what I wanted. Please try to understand.
Out of my way! You ready, McCain?
Go on home, Captain. I'm not going to help you push this grudge.
When the man's challenged, he fights, McCain. Prepare yourself.
Paul!
Stay where you are, son.
Give him his rifle, boy.
No, son.
Don't force me to shoot an unarmed man, McCain.
Paul, he means it!
Your boy disobeyed you.
Yes, he did, Captain. But out of love.
The boy did it out of love, Father. Can't you understand that?
Benjamin, let's go home.
Thank you, Mr. McCain, for everything.
Good night. You'd better get back to bed, son.
You know, Paul, I just realized something.
What's that?
This is one time that a son taught his pa a lesson.
Oh, you mean the Reverend and Captain Perry? Well, that can happen sometimes, Mark.
Oh, of course. I know between us who does all the teaching.
You know something, son? I think we ought to get you a haircut tomorrow morning.
Oh, Paul.
But right now, good night.
Night.